Good morning or good evening. So let me introduce our team. Mahinar Galal, Hager Akel, Aya Yasser, Alaa Yasser, Aya Khaled, Nayera Ali, Mayar Hossam, and Mariam Sherif. Welcome to our midterm virtual presentation. It's an honor for us to be presenting our presentation virtually. So let's start.
Our agency's name is Canyon Communications. The name was inspired by the Grand Canyon, as it referred to the eighth wonder of the world, for its massive scope and beauty. And eighth referred to that we are a group of 8 people. And also the name was inspired by the colored canyon in Dahab. Moving on to the logo, the color palette of the logo was inspired by the color of the canyon. As you can see, it started from the top of the sky and moved gradually to the color of the mountain. And the O in the logo referred to the silhouette of the canyon. And our agency's slogan is Gateway to Wonder, as whenever you think of the Grand Canyon, it inspires you to wonder. And that was our inspiration to the slogan. Moving on to the mission and vision. We accomplish our goal by recognizing and fulfilling our core responsibilities towards our clients, shareholders, suppliers, and community through a passionate and enthusiastic team. Satisfying customers, perfectionist, high-quality services, and effective communication are our way to be the leaders of mass communication around the world. Moreover, we as a Canyon Communication Agency, we are partners with Cairo Walls, which is a full-service interior design. It's a startup located in Cairo since 2017. And as you can see in the screen, these are some of their work. Actually, it was commercial work for an Uber company in New Cairo. Moving on to the owners of the Cairo Walls. As you can see in front of you in the screen, the owners of Cairo Walls are 2 MIU architecture graduate students. Their names are Ahmed Asadiyeh and Mohammed Mohsen. Moving on to what Cairo Walls offer their clients, they both design their murals from scratch and go through the execution process from A to Z. This includes coming up with the concept of the design, choosing the color palette that is aesthetically pleasing. And in terms of execution, the Cairo Walls team does everything from wall preparation, choosing the suitable paints, and working day and night shifts in order that to get the work done in a matter of days. And also this is one of the non-commercial projects. The Cairo Wall executed in a small village in Almenia. The village is called the Kom Al Akhdar. This was part of the project where the Cairo Walls renovated the village. And this is a photo of the design that was executed. It was executed in one of the buildings. The designs was inspired by the people who lived in the village and also their traditions. And here are the 4 designs the Cairo Walls made for this project. However, only one was executed, which you have seen in the previous slide.
Here it comes to our topic name, which is beautifying Egypt through street art, especially through murals and painting on walls. And as it requested as a CSR campaign for Cairo Walls, as they sent a brief to us.
Now moving to our secondary research, starting from some history about street art. Graffiti or street art started at 20s and 30s when people start to paint on cars, walls, and the streets. They also tend to paint on sides of trains and trash bins. On the other hand, people lately started to use it to express their social and political environment and use it as a tool in the community to call what they want. Public art is any kind of art in public space where people and general public can expose to it. And it is important because public art gives sense of identity and it also makes the environment much more interesting for people, and it is a point between past and present where people can know what happened in the past and can record what happened in the present. And it makes the society much more coherent and linked people to their culture.
Street art is any art created in public spaces. The difference between public art and vandalism is whether a permission is taken or not. Any street art done without permission is considered illegal and is called vandalism. The most common type of vandalism is tagging, and I am sure you have seen it a lot in Egypt. Even though street art without permission is considered vandalism, many street artists who have painted without permission have been glorified as socially conscious and known artists.
Moving to the benefits of murals. First of all, street art is about expression, creativity, and freedom. There is a freedom with putting work on the streets. Street art is a very diversity from expressions from people from all over the world. Artists are influenced and inspired by multiple of cultures and styles, and we all see this art in the streets all over the world. Street art makes people happy and can cheer them up. It makes their day more interesting and it adds character to anything being boring or grey in the streets. Art reminds people to feel alive. It wakes people up, inspires and motivates them. And also it is important to keep urban areas energized and inspired. It can be beautiful and reviving a city rather than destroying it. It makes people get out from their stress and relax them. It connects people with their neighborhood and make them feel home. According to the theory of Colin, a researcher in public art, street art evokes positive emotions. Public art doesn't only make buildings look alive, it makes us alive, and it slows us down in a good way. According to the theory of Colin, people who walk in the space passing by street art, they dropped their speed by half, passing and looking at the street art around them.
And now, we will show you some street art examples on a global scale. A global street art example called Big City Life. In Italy, people wanted to transform the neighborhood into a real museum. So the common goal was to transform it into a public modern art district. And as you can see, every building has a painting that says something or describe a meaning. The second example called Remembering a Forgotten Hero. A group of students collaborated and made a mural to honor K2. K2 is a civil rights activist in America which reflects their history. As you can see, this is the first mural to honor K2 in the US.
Here are some examples of street art in Egypt. Here is an example of public art. This painting, which was really supported by the government, is done by the Faculty of Fine Arts students in the Opera Metro Station. Here are another example of paintings that are done in Bab el-Lou by an artist called Naesh, while the other one that is done in El Fayoum is done by an artist called Nofel. These paintings are also done by Nofel and can be seen while driving on the ring road. This mural is done in El Giza by an artist called Injil Garf. It is commissioned by the German government and is co-founded by the European Union. Its aim is to raise environmental awareness and motivate people to take a positive step toward improving the environment.
Alaa Awad is an Egyptian-based graffiti artist. He wanted to emphasize on the Egyptian identity. So as you can see in the mural, he represents the Egyptian heritage and to remind people that the past helped them to be true to the Egyptian identity. Another example called Perception. A French-Tunisian artist created this mural over 50 buildings. As you can see, as one painting from a certain point in Mu'attam mountain, which means anyone who wants to see the sunlight clearly needs to wipe his eyes first. As he wanted to deliver a message that is related to the misconception of how people see the community of Manshiet Nasser there. This one is called Sand Stories. This is actually in Sheraton, Cairo. A Serbian artist, he is well known by mixing photorealism and illustrations with colors to represent a culture, made this mural. As you can see, the mural represents the Egyptian culture as well.
Moving on to research areas and questions. Area number 1, perception. First, is the target audience aware of the term street art? Second, had the target audience been exposed to street art in Egypt? If yes, where? Moving on to area number 2, attitude of our target toward this initiative. First, what are the target audience attitude towards street art? Second, how does the target audience feel about street art in Egypt as they are now? Third, does the target audience think this initiative is necessary? Moving on to area number 3, implementation. First, is the target audience willing to contribute to this initiative? Second, what are the motives that will encourage our target audience to partake in this initiative? Third, Will the target audience support or attack this initiative? Moving on to area number 4, media exposure habits. First, what are their media habits? Second, what are their favorite channel on TV? Third, what are the most noticeable type of ads for them? Billboards, social media.
Moving on to the methodology. Our qualitative research, we have made many focus groups to know more about our topic and to get in touch with our target audience, such as general public, fine art students, and those who appreciate arts. We also have made 2 interviews general public with different age gaps. We also have made an interview with experts and with professions, and with 2 government officials, and with our client Cairo Wolf. Moving on to our quantitative research, we have distributed online survey to get more insights about our topic. And moving on to our sampling, we have chosen non-probability sampling as we couldn't get the whole list of the population, and our sampling is available convenient as we pick our sample from people who are conveniently available for our survey and topic. And it can also be a volunteer because we don't force anyone to answer our survey. And now here is to our research findings from our qualitative and quantitative research. First of all, the perception of our target audience toward our topic. We find that 92% of our respondents are familiar with the term of street art. And when we ask them about their perception about Egyptian streets nowadays, they personified the Egyptian streets as an old man, depressed, dull and boring. And almost 90% of our respondents rate Egyptian streets as an very ugly and neutral. They say exactly الشوارع كلها شبه بعضها عاملة زي علبة الكبريت ملهاش ملامح. They also say exactly الشوارع المصرية شخص قاعد على القهوة. الشوارع المصرية شخص مطرب موظف حكومي بيجري على عياله عنده عيال كتير عنده مسؤوليات ما عندوش وقت يفكر في أي حاجة تانية. And secondly, the attitude of the target audience toward our topic. Most of our respondents agreed that street art will positively affect the mood of people and make people more productive and even affect how they respect the cleanliness in the public spaces. And they also agree that street art can be as a tool to express our culture and to support it and simply make it beautiful. They also stressed on the message of street art. The message should relate to our culture and relate to people, even if it is a simple message. The mural should appear as if it is a part of their life on a mural. Also, our respondents agreed that if the message relate to people and reached them, they feel as they were a part of it and belonging to it.
Moving on to area number 3, which is implementation in Egypt. After conducting our qualitative and quantitative research, we found out that this initiative is demanded by the Egyptian market, especially when the Egyptian people, they have a very rushed, hectic and consuming daily life routine, which made them lose the sense of art. Integrating such initiative in their lives would positively impact them subconsciously. Moving on to point number 2, which is tourism. This initiative would have a great impact on tourism as it would benefit the areas where tourists get exposed to, like Nazlet al-Semman and Airport Road. Having this initiative implemented in these areas would let the tourists see our culture, know who we are, and they get to know us more and deeply, and would create like a connection with them. In terms of the contribution, as you can see in the pie chart, that the majority of the people would love and would want to contribute in our initiative, even in a minor way. They can actually contribute simply by not littering anything in the area where we are going to implement the mural, or they can actually integrate in the process of creating these murals. Participants are supporting our initiative regardless of what social class they come from, especially when they get involved in any sort of way. In the survey, 93% said yes, they will contribute in our initiative. 30% said maybe, as they're not sure of how they'll be involved or they're going to contribute. 97 of the responses said that yes, it makes a difference to them if they saw more street art in Egypt. In terms of where we're going to implement street art, most of the participants said in areas that need to be beautified or in areas where people can walk in, not cars. For example, in slums or Heliopolis or downtown Cairo. Moving on to area number 4, which is the government. After talking to 2 governmental officials, both of them are on board to our idea. They would love to implement our idea, especially if we have a culture-oriented concept, something that serves our community, our people, our culture. We can implement such project in bridges or in schools. They also have mentioned that the point here that as long as you have a message which is related to the Egyptian people, related to our culture, something that serve our community, then yes, we would support you, and yes, we would be able to grant that they will be able to grant us permissions, and they will be happy to help us.
And as for our SWOT, we found that our strengths are that there is no controversy for this campaign. All people love art. There is a lot of health and psychological benefits, and it's first of its kind as a communication campaign in Egypt for such initiative, and that our client Cairo Walls has a strong image. And from the research, we also found that 80% of our target audience is willing to contribute, and 70% of young artists willing to contribute to in such initiative. As for the weakness, our campaign is intangible campaign, so we will find difficulties in measuring the success. We have limited number of artists available with Cairo Wall, so it will not be easily to be spread, and art is subjective by nature. Not all people have the same sense of art. And for our opportunities, Egyptian streets are lacking of beauty nowadays, and there's government responsibles are supporting this initiative. Our initiative can help the country's effort in supporting tourism, and that there's a face lift all over the country now by the government. And for the threats, we will have a governmental permissions take a long time to get and cannot be guaranteed, and vandalism of street art may threat us too. In conclusion, we have found through our research that there is a high need for this campaign from all aspects, whether it's a governmental or societal ones. And as there is no controversy on implementing this campaign, so it will benefit everyone regardless of his social class. And one of the biggest indicators that over 98% of our respondents agreed there is something that will indeed make a difference to them, and the response will definitely be positive, and a lot of them want to contribute with us in such initiative.
Now we're going to discuss the importance of the campaign. In this part we have 6 different points, so let's start. So starting with economic growth and sustainability. When we get exposed to such murals in the street while we're commuting from one destination to another, whether we are a student or whether we are an employee, our productivity and efficiencies tend to increase, which later on would have an impact on our economy, as this would increase the productivity and then it would lead to increase in the gross domestic product and so on, and this would contribute into our economical growth. In terms of sustainability, when we implement the murals on the bridges or on the buildings, this would help the sustainability of the bridges and the buildings in general. Moving on to second point, which is social cohesion and cultural understanding. So when we implement murals, of our culture, of our identity. People see who we are. People get to know it just from our drawing, just from like commuting or moving from one destination to another. Whether we are a tourist, whether we are a native Egyptian, we're gonna tend to know who we are. We feel this kind of pride that we are Egyptians and look who we are. You will see different perspectives of art implemented in the streets by Egyptian people. You're gonna feel this sense of connectivity. You're gonna feel connected. Like if you're a native person, you're gonna feel that you're connected to this country. You're gonna feel, yes, I'm proud of who I am. Look, this is my history. Look, this is this is what we have done in our life, or this is our culture, or this is our values or morals. If you're a tourist, you're gonna say, look at the Egyptian people. Oh, I have this connection with the Egyptian people. I started to know who they are just from their drawings. And then later on they would discover who we are more and more they like visit different touristic areas. Moving on to point 3, which is public health and belonging. Such initiative would impact our public health and our general well-being, as it would impact our mood. It would impact how we feel. We will tend to feel more stress-free. We'll tend to feel more positive. We're gonna have more positive moods when you get exposed to like a different art or exposed to murals while you're moving from one place to another. I've mentioned before, your mood will be different. If you're stressed, you can feel more relaxed. In terms of belonging, you're gonna feel connected. As you feel connected, you're gonna feel more belonging to this place. If people have certain stigmas or mental health stigmas, this would also be reduced by murals or by street art, according to our research.
So now moving on to the next 3 points. Murals, while very beautiful, they don't only serve to brighten your day, but also are an integral part of creating a safer community. This is backed by the broken window theory, which states that order and beauty motivates more individuals to act responsibly in the community, seeing that it is already established. Without urban art, a sense that an environment is already disturbed and can therefore continue to be abused or used inappropriately may continue. If the environment is cared for, drug use, crime, robbery, and vandalism decline statistically. So the idea is, when one window breaks, disorder can erupt. So now, the importance of this campaign is also very significant for artists in a community. By providing a public art ecosystem, this supports artists and other creatives by validating them as important contributors to the community. And in terms of attachment and cultural identity, public art directly influences how people see and connect with the place by providing access to aesthetics that support its identity and making residents feel appreciated and valued. In fact, according to statistics, aesthetics is actually one of the top 3 characteristics why residents attach themselves to a community.
So, based on our research and all the points mentioned in the conclusion, there is a high need for this communication campaign, and implementing it will hopefully lead to adding new energy and life to the streets of Egypt, as it really needs it. And for our direction and creative approach, we will deliver our messages using a light-hearted psychology-based tone, and our main direction will be informative and psychological as well as artistic. Part of our direction will be to describe what art can do for our target audience's life.
So now for our campaign. So before conducting our primary research, our main objective was to enhance the sense of beauty through street art among the target audience. And now that we've conducted our research, this has changed, and our main objective now is to create awareness that Cairo Walls is beautifying Egypt through street art through a CSR campaign. So now for our target audience, not much has changed from before. However, we are still targeting social classes B and C, both females and males, age group 18 to 30 years old, and for the neighborhoods, which are Heliopolis, Nasser City, Hadea El Obba, and Qasr Suez. And for the secondary target audience, we are targeting young artists, government officials, and finally, district officials. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening to our midterm presentation. We really hope you enjoyed it.